Well, one of today's Champions League matches is between Galatasaray and Juventus, which is a reunion for Galatasaray's Victor Osimhen and Juventus's boss Luciano Spalletti. They won the Scudetto together in the 2022-23 season. That led Spalletti to being named Serie A Coach of the Year that season, and Osimhen to winning the Capocannoniere and becoming the African Footballer of the Year. Under Spalletti, Osimhen scored 49 goals in 71 appearances. The Hood, Osimhen and Spalletti, they played such a big part in helping Napoli win their first Scudetto in 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, Victor Osimhen became a cult hero, right? And you think of what might have been in the Champions League even if he hadn't gotten injured. Hence why he has the mask now, and it's become a big part of his symbol and his brand. But there's videos and stuff that are coming out since in terms of the relationship, and it was just Spalletti meeting fire with fire of Victor Osimhen, because Victor Osimhen's a passionate guy.
Yeah.
Some might say he's got an ego the size of this studio or the size of Stamford, Connecticut at different times, and it's shown both for club and for country. But they are two figures in the history of Napoli football in the modern era that will go down as legendary. But it hasn't always been the best at times, because we've also seen the just negative side of the Napoli-Osimhen relationship.
Talking of figures, 49 in 71. Those are some numbers. Those are some numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, and this is in a league where, you know, defence is king. So he posted some numbers there.
Yeah, it was incredible, the career that he had on Napoli, and so unfortunate to see the way that it ended
soured,
for him there. It soured, and he actually did speak recently about the relationship that he had with the club and with the managers there. One thing he said was, they tried to send me anywhere to play, but they treated me like a dog. Go here, go there, do this, do that. I worked so hard to build my career, and I couldn't accept that kind of treatment. I'm not a puppet. And of course, there's many different reasons why his relationship soured with Napoli. Of course, one of them being that the club, it was even his own club that posted a couple different videos mocking him. They're mocking their own player here.
I cannot get my head around this.
One of them,
I really can't.
This came from the Napoli account itself, mocking him for asking to take the penalty kick and then missing it.
There's a certain thing that I feel like sometimes footballers crave, and they speak about it, but they can never really articulate exactly what they want. And I think what he's looking for here is respect, because you're talking about a record signing in terms of for their club. You're talking about someone who won the Young Serie A Player of the Year. You're talking about the goals that he scored for that club, and also he's the highest African goal scorer in Serie A history. Like, he's achieved all of that, as well as delivering what was the most important thing, which was a Scudetto. So when you see that body of work, what I don't expect then is a social team to then start taking the mick out of me when I'm actually demonstrating my ability on the pitch.
JD,
once again.
I think you've been way too generous. You could have been a rookie striker, never done a thing in the league. You signed for a team, you're playing for a team, you miss a penalty, and they're taking the piss out.
But it's even worse when I'm the staple point, and I'm also the reason as to why there's been recent success and the relationship that I have. I've shouldered the responsibility, come into the league with a huge price tag, delivered on that price tag, and then more importantly, delivered you something in your history that only the reason as to why what your stadium is named after as to why you have that. I'm up there with anybody in Napoli's history in terms of what I've demonstrated on the pitch, and that's the level of respect that you gave me in turn. I'm not surprised that he has those words, but I always say, and I keep my same mantra, your ex is your ex for a reason. You go there for a reason, and you go and demonstrate as to what you can do, because this is not a young striker. This is a striker firmly in his prime. And I don't throw this slogan around often, but you understand exactly what I'm saying. This is a world-class striker.
Yeah.
On his day, he's as good as any striker you can name in world football. And you give him a B in his bonnet, oh, he's about to go and deliver.
That can't have been the only thing. It was a number of things, but that's not going to help, is it?
We know.
My only question about him, I agree with you about his ability, and as we said about his numbers, why is he in Turkey? It's not. He should be. It's a great league in terms of the passion and the spectacle, but he should be. He's in his pomp. He's in his prime right now. He should be playing at top-level Champions League club.
Yeah, in terms of ability alone, I mean, I can only think of one team that doesn't need Victor Osimhen, or that Victor Osimhen couldn't walk into in the Premier League right now, and that's Manchester City.
100%.
He could walk into any Premier League club, and they would be like, in terms of just ability, where do we sign? Get him in there right now. I agree with everything everyone's saying, but this is going to be really, really feisty, because in his pre-match presser, Luciano Spalletti talked about not just Victor Osimhen, But Mauro Icardi, they go back as well. That's one of his exes.
I know.
Remember Inter?
Well, in fairness to Spalletti, he's got a few exes out there, but like...
No, and he talked about the prospect of them maybe playing together up top. That's a very much a reality.
How often has he done that? How often they go up top together?
I think as of late, it's been part of the equation.
Would he do that in a Champions League game, though?
At home?
At home? At home?
Icardi underneath?
Listen.
No.
You know as well as I do, when you stand on them touchlines in Turkey, in Galatasaray or Fenerbahce, it is a completely different energy.
Yeah.
It is, as they say, welcome to hell.
It's a fire.
They are going to give you everything. Those fans are in there 2.5 hours beforehand. The ultras are ready to go. And I look at that front four, and I think to myself, that could do damage against anybody in Europe. On their day, it's my question mark for them as Gala is what they're going to do when they're in the second part of this equation. I personally think that they will send a statement. It's in the first part, but it's the second part of the equation as to whether or not you can demonstrate both home and away your excellence. But there is quality running throughout that whole team, and on their day, you can look at any one of those players as individual match winners. And when you have Victor Osimhen up top, as my boy Matt Lahu would say, he's the best player in Africa for a reason.
Yeah.
I mean, Sane is reborn there, isn't he?
Yeah.
Gundogan brings not just a calmness and experience, been there, done it, got the T-shirt. I wonder whether or not he'll find room for Gabriel Serra, though. I really like him. He can do anything on the ball. He may get in there, I don't know. They can cause you problems, and as JD said, the atmosphere there as well. And they're going into the game, they're the much better form team right now out of the two, by a long way.
Yeah, and there are a lot of storylines coming into this game, not just the X's that Spalletti has, but also the fact that Juve is coming into this game. And you think about the mental aspect of them having just played in the Derby d'Italia, where they lost, a game that was overshadowed by refereeing decisions. I mean, how much does that mentally play for them coming into this game?
You kind of want a game as quickly as possible, and Luciano Spalletti would be telling his team, look, let's recover from what arguably is the biggest game on the calendar because of the historical context domestically, and let's go into a European competition with some confidence. I'm only circling 2 players when I look at this projected 11. Shout out to our graphics team for paying attention to the press conference, because McKennie will start up top. I think the versatility and what I've seen in his game, you see the trust that Spalletti has for him as a forward, especially because he understands the defensive responsibility as well. But we already know it's already circled about.
Will he be a false 9, JD?
He'll be a false 9, but at the same time, because of his presence, his dynamic, and also just his natural athletic ability, he can do the other role as well and be a threat in behind. But Kenan Yıldız, my brother, let's have the conversation about returning to Turkey.
Yeah.
Because forget the political side of it, forget the emotional side of it. I just want to see the ability from Juventus's number 10. The old lady number 10, you wear that shirt with pride. There's been some legends that have worn that jersey and understand the responsibility of it. It's your time to go home and showcase as to why you are Turkey's next big thing.
Yeah,
no more conversations anymore.
I love that we're talking about Yıldız because, in my opinion, for Juventus, if you can stop Kenan Yıldız, you have a great chance of stopping Juve, right? And I think so much attention is being paid to him, and Weston is saying, thank you, God. I'll take advantage of it, right? So this is a big night for him. I thought Inter did a good job of getting numbers in around him at the weekend. Controversy aside in terms of refereeing decisions, he's definitely one to watch. I mean, his upbringing is in Germany, right? So the emotions, and I remember this as a player where, look, I was born in Africa, but I grew up in the States, right? You grow up in a different culture. And so the emotional return to go back to the country where your parents, your family is from, that's going to be playing on his mind. He's a young guy. He's got loads of ability, and he's already shown glimpses of what could be on a night like tonight in the Champions League. You think about the match they won against Borussia Dortmund. I thought he was unplayable that day.
But you look at the German-born players that have Turkish descendants. Look how much pride they show. İlkay Gundogan, Mesut Ozil. Like, they very much associate themselves in terms of where their history comes from, their lineage. And because of the close political responsibility as well, he will know. He will be seeing all the press, all of his family, all of his friends will know. All of the headlines will be about him and what he does in his return to Turkey. Accept the responsibility, because I said, the old lady number 10 is not a joke jersey. That's one of the most historic and important legacy football shirts in world football. It's your opportunity now to showcase as to why you are the next big thing. Forget about Arda Güler. Forget about all of the other ones that we're talking about. This is his moment. I want to see the celebration. I love it. Show the celebration for a reason, because if we don't see this after Tuesday, I'm having the conversation again. Is he really as good as we think he is?
Ooh.
I'm not sure I could do that.
Try it out.
Can you do it?
Try it out.
No, I'm not. That's one with the kids now. I'm not really. I'm past. I'm almost at unk stage. So as my little nephew tells me.
No, I mean, this tie, so many people. Benfica, Real Madrid. The storylines are there, right? But in terms of just the drama, this tie could give us some of the biggest drama we see in the knockout playoffs. And one storyline to keep an eye on, right? Victor Osimhen, Mauro Icardi. We talked about the X's. So in his press conference, and I thought this was excellent in terms of setting a tone, we talked about how this Juventus side is going to react to the refereeing decisions and the scandal. Luciano Spalletti, they asked him, okay, you're going up against Victor Osimhen, Icardi. I mean, how would you describe them, and how are you going to contend with what happened at the weekend? And he said, any player of mine who kicks the ball long because they feel uncomfortable by being pressed by Victor Osimhen and Mauro Icardi, they're off the pitch. So he intends to keep two players who he described as being chaos incarnate. One player who creates chaos, the other player who thrives and benefits off of chaos. So his stall's out. Now it's on Juve to follow up.
Thanks for watching this video from Morning Footy. For all news and insights regarding leagues around the world like EFL, Serie A, and all UEFA competitions, both men's and women's, don't forget to sign up for Paramount Plus.